Hi. Um, this is Rob. Welcome to Warblog. My excitable introduction. Um, Essentially, this is Vietnam, 1967. It's called Operation Junction City. Now, it's it's interesting. Um, I should put things into perspective. The map is too small, really, to allow sort of any strategic movement. I mean, there's really no movement for the Viet Cong here. It really needs a much bigger map. I mean, even if I extended this hex so that it was level with that and these maybe down 2 more hexes, it wouldn't give enough scope, sort of movement I think that was at play here. The Americans found it hard to find the Viet Cong. I don't think you're going to find it hard to find them in this scenario. It's semi-accurate. What we've got up here is a lot of the 1st Division. So this section over here, which is made up mainly of the 1st Division, Wikipedia says the 25th Division were in play, but the notes on the one of the sort of references wasn't particularly clear. So I put some of the 25th up here, and there's a 25th unit here. But basically, this was called the Anvil. And then basically, so these troops sort of marched in there. Now, I've given them some artillery. There's not a lot of artillery. That's the only artillery piece they've got. These people were all, basically, these people are airborne. So, now I can't remember, I'm not sure whether this is correct. Basically, the Wikipedia thing says there were 8 battalions. So these are actually 8 battalions. But also there were paratroopers. So I think there's 3 or 4 paratrooper units, and I put them all from the 173. So together with this and this, it forms the Anvil. They're trying to sort of enclave them. Now, none of the maps show this big water feature. It's a little more complex and involved, but I mean, as a strategic thing, you can't get from one side to the other. It's not little rivers; these are big lakes. This is water. So that's quite significant. This little place down here, let me go into play mode, because now I can toggle my counter. You can see this is Tay Ninh. So really, I mean, I think the map should be, larger, but that's just tough. So here we have the Anvil, and we had basically mechanized units flanking along here, which is like the corridor, and then we had the hammer, which was basically the 11th Armoured Cavalry. I think they had something else in there, so like I say, it's semi-accurate. I just really don't know exactly what was where. And then these drive forward. They're quite big units, and plus there's a lot of American air power. So, I mean, I guess, I mean, this is the setup. I mean, what would be stopping? And these are basically the this is the 9th Division. So elements of the 9th Division haven't labelled them up, and they should maybe go back and do that. But I think from a game playing perspective, they might be better off moving this way. But you've got to sort of put it into perspective. They're not in a position to really do a lot of counter-attacking. Now, toggling the counter again, we've got at ball bang, whatever that is. There was a lot of action at that place. There were a couple of minor actions. Essentially, the Americans didn't get away, as lightly as they might have hoped. So anyway, that's the setup. So the setup is fairly accurate, but because of the limitations of space, I don't think it's a particularly representative one. I think if anyone was sort of thinking of playing this scenario, this wouldn't really suffice. I don't think you could palm this off as being significant. The scale's just wrong. But that said, it makes for an interesting game. I've no idea whether the sides are balanced or not. One of the things that makes it interesting, one minute, no, I keep doing that, but I'll go make a coffee and I haven't actually done it. I'll actually have a drink. Okay, back in the land of the living theory. So it should make an interesting scenario. But one thing that's appealing to me more than anything else is that now that the rules have changed, and if you've not been looking at the other videos, you wouldn't know. But because you don't have to advance, it makes the strategic deployment and engagement a lot more interesting. So, without further ado, I will start playing. So these troops, now I might entrench all the Viet Cong. I don't know yet. It's just they seem to be mobile, and that was their defensive strategy, not sort of like digging in. So one minute, I think I might have to just check something. Yes, I just had to make sure that given, well, I'll have to do this again, but the mechanized units should, on reload, should all be able to move. Now, one thing to notice here that a lot of them have got 7s movement. Big ones, I don't know why I did that, but I think it's useful because it's 3 movement in the through the jungle, so that gives them 2 movement and at least something to make an assault. Whereas if it's 6, there'd be 2 movement and they couldn't make an assault. So yeah. Now what I'm trying to do is to use these units as the hammer, and these units as the screen, and these units as the anvil. So I'm going to try and play it properly. So carrying out most of my offensive actions with these units, but the Americans, so we've got air power. Now, I really don't know what the sort of ratio was of aircraft being shot down, but they do have quite a bit of air defense. Now, this air defense, in my mind's eye, is quad-mounted heavy machine guns, which I think they have pretty liberally. So I'm going to go 2 and 2. So 2 units into there, just to see what sort of effect that has. So 1 to 1, that's an exchange. So first blood to the Americans goes to the Viet Cong. And this unit here, I think. Probably a 1 to 1 again. Yep. Oh, look at that. DR, which means they're now 3 fatigue, so that's pretty good. Now, one of the benefits of the way that I'm doing this now is that I can afford to do, and this is how I want to play the game, sort of almost strategically. I mean, that was a 1 to 2, and I got a defender retreat. Now that was incredible. And as you can see, one of the units went there, or they both went there. They probably both went there actually. Yeah, I think they both moved into there. Now the thing is, I now have. He retreated there, look. Now I'll probably have to sort of refigure this out because he should have movement. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. I know what the problem is there. which is a bit of a pain because I don't want to start messing around at the moment. Now he's retreated into this spare gap, which is a major pain actually, because if I attack him again, he's going to move there, because it's actually fairly predictable. It sort of goes clockwise around this way. So I've yet to really sort of like get to grips with the retreat process. It's something I will do, but at 50%, I think I'm going to have to basically attack him. 1-to-1 odds, defender retreats. So he's now moved over there, which is interesting. So I'm not going to, well, I think I will attack into there. And I've got 2 units to move. Now, let me just go back to the game. It could be that I'd moved him. When I moved him into there, that was 2. I'm not sure how that worked out. Like that. But he has 2 movement points left. So what happened is he moved from where he was there into there, which took him 3 movement points. He then lost 2 movement points for engaging in a combat, I think. Yeah, because he attacked into there. So that's 5, and he's got 2 left, which allows him to engage in this attack into this unit. So that's sort of how it should be working. So that's working fine. An exchange. I'm a lot happier now that we can keep lines like that, because otherwise, if I'd won that battle, I would have moved into there. If I'd won that battle, I would have moved into there. Now this unit's been retreated twice, and I think it really isn't going to have. There's really not a lot left of that. I'll probably destroy it with my air power. So I'm going to keep this line because I want to move it forward as a hammer. These units are all going to stay there as the anvil. These units are just there to stop him moving this way and that way, because you've got to remember the zones of control. So this is all zones of control here. So I'm going to pass it over to the Viet Cong player, and I mean essentially, I think what he's going to try and do, because I want to keep it sort of semi-sensible, is, well, I'm actually going to try and move him over towards Cambodia. So they're both trying to move to Cambodia. Now here, I don't know. I've gone silent next. I'm thinking I should really be thinking while I'm trying to just play online. But I'm going to leave it at that. I want to leave that as a sort of enclave there. The movement is, look at that nice squiggly thing there. Okay. And now it's back to the US. Air assaults. Well, this looks like a stack, so I'll go for that. Oh, 5-to-1, defender eliminated. Which gave him 3 depressions. And then it's basically attack, attack, attack. But I've only got 15 seconds left, so I'm not going to do anything else. I'm probably not going to take this game any further, at least immediately. So that's that. I'll see you later. Well, as ever, I've decided to have one more little go at this. One of the reasons being that I forgot that I had not fired my artillery, because these guys have a lot of artillery and I didn't fire theirs. So I'll make up for it by not firing this remaining air power. So, what would the Americans do next? Well, I think he's going to move there. He's going to move there. I still have to refresh the page in order to activate that thing. So now I've got a nice long straight line. Look at that, how's that for an anvil? And push him into there. Push him there. Now this unit here, let's see what I can do with a direct one-on-one. Remember that they're at 70%, so only worth 30%, and that's rockets, so he's worth 6. So he's worth about 1.5. So I should get a 7-to-1 doubled. I mean, I think I'll get a 2 or 3-to-1 on this. 2-to-1 exchange. So that's an interesting scenario. He should be fighting up here. I will move this in here. So I think we're going to try and take this unit out using both of these 1-to-1 in exchange. So on the exchange they go down to essentially 0 movement, so they can't fight again. Let's see what you can do against this unit. An exchange. So I quite like this, the change in the sort of, well, basically the automatic, removing the automatic advance after combat. I think has made a lot of difference. So, and to be quite honest, I'm actually not used to it. So it's now the Viet Cong player's turn. Now they are definitely going to try and not a lot of point in. They're basically going to try and get over to Cambodia. What I'm going to do with this unit is actually use the artillery and anything else that can fire. Now, I think he's the one I just moved. He's one of 8 depressions. See what this artillery can do. 1 to 3 odds, attack and retreat. Now 1 to 3 odds, I mean, it's not good, but it could eventually do something. This artillery, these rockets should have been in that game, so it could be that I've messed up again, or it could be that actually the rockets are not, still not counting rockets in yet. Yeah, they're actually rockets, not artillery. I've yet to put that into the rules. Major blunder on my behalf. So, yeah, I'm going to have to sort that out. Major blunder, really. Okay, but I've got quite a lot of air power. I'm going to try, because the thing that sort of makes this quite interesting now is that I can now afford to fight back. 1 to 3 odds, attack or retreat. That was interesting. It's only worth attacking if you're certain that you're not going to have to retreat. Because now I'd probably lose the air defense units, so I think he's going to have to at least try and defend that, and he can't because it's a river. So this air defense unit will, can he move there? Yes, so saved. But I think plowing everything into here, so this is a counter-attack now by the Viet Cong, 1-to-1 defender retreat, so they're actually pushing the American forces back, and they've got one movement. Got one movement left, but they're not going to advance because I don't think they want to advance. I think they know. I mean, essentially, I'm trying to play it properly. That this hammer isn't very strong. It's compromised already. Now the thing is, these two units. Do I want to attack there and there, or both into there? I think I'll try both into here. That should be a 1-to-2 attack. That wasn't good. The Viet Cong have pretty much ballsed it up. So, back to the Americans. The US. You've got to remember, on turn 20 they get a whole bunch of reinforcements at Quan Lai up here. So that's something to look out for. Now these units are at fatigue level 8, but I've received a fatigue level there myself. But I think I really do have to sort of, well, what I'm actually going to do, because this unit here, he is actually supposedly part of the flanking unit that goes up and down making sure units don't escape. So I'm quite happy to move him there and engage him in this attack. I think I should get a defender eliminated on this. 6-to-1 defender retreats. Well, he's worth nothing now. But I really have to maintain this line. Now I'm going to use my artillery on this because it's in range. 1-to-1, that wasn't good, and then exchange. So the US are taking a heavy pounding against the Viet Cong. They can't escape. I haven't committed my anvil because it's just not the way it should be. But the hammer should be a little heavier, I think. Maybe another mechanized unit. I do use this stuff. When I did the airstrike on here, I think what happens is that basically units shouldn't be eliminated from airstrikes. But I haven't done all the rules through because there's quite a few sort of coding options, and what happened was the infantry unit was eliminated, but the artillery wasn't because of the way the rules are set up. When I correct that, the infantry won't be able to be eliminated. I don't want anyone being eliminated from an airstrike. It's just too potent, I think. So I think I will pound this unit with 2 airstrikes. Defender retreat, that gives him another 3, so he's down to 4. And this unit is tuckered, so I think I will try this unit here. You've got to remember I'm playing without the Viet Cong rockets here, so that was an exchange, so they're down another factor. They've got 1 depression now. Okay, next turn. Viet Cong. Well, did I miss something there? The Viet Cong escape into Cambodia. And these units definitely want to push further up this way, but now they've got a much easier target, so I'm going to commit them both to here and use my artillery. Look at that, 2 to 1, defender retreats. But I've got no movement. I still have to really tidy up the movement thing. If they were armoured, it would be nice to have been able to move into there. In fact, that's a bit of a pain because I would actually want to move into there and to take all the Viet Cong out into Cambodia. That's interesting. These rules are still being developed, so I should be able to advance, and clearly I can't, which is an error. It's because he went down to 2. He went from 3, moved, which put him down to 1. When he did the combat, he was subtracted 2, which took him from 1 to -1. Because he was less than 1, he went to 0. Although, yeah, because he moved, actually, no, that's correct. And when it is correct anyway. I just still got to get my head around all of this. Now, this guy, I think I might actually just go across the river. Why not? Puts a nice strong line across there. Well, it looks like they've got 2 fatigues. I don't really want to start attacking those big units. See, they are actually posing themselves as big units. These little ones are not big units, and so they are a little easier to attack. I think the Viet Cong next turn will be moving backwards. In actual fact, I think because I've just moved that, because I just moved into a zone of control, I think I'm going to move everything back 1. I think this is an okay move for the Viet Cong. Okay. Well, airstrikes. One other thing about the balance of this game, I don't think it's actually as bad as I thought it was, although they clearly, I think, going to be. The Viet Cong going to stand a chance. But from the way I've been thinking of it and envisaging things, these are not being decimated as units anyway. So, for example, when I eliminate a unit, as I did on that stack in bang, they're just being dispersed. I mean, they could rally off board and come back on again if I had that sort of rules, but I don't. So what I'm saying is I think it's actually fair enough for the American player to play to remove all these units. It doesn't reflect the fact that they removed and killed the entire 9th Division. It just means that the Viet Cong, I think, in interpretation, did what they do and vanished into the jungle. So I think that's sort of fair enough. Another airstrike. I mean, their air defence hasn't really done much. 2 to 1 exchange. Okay, the American turn. No, it is American turn. Good to see. Okay, so now we've got our hammer back into gear. Three to 1, defender retreats. And I have a movement point left to do that move.